And I'm going to go ahead and read the mission statement, but I have to find it on my desktop first. Here we go. Helping Parents Heal is a nonprofit organization dedicated to assisting parents whose children have passed. Through support and resources offered, we aspire to help individuals become shining light parents, meaning a shift from a state of emotional heaviness to one of hopefulness and greater peace of mind. HPH goes a step beyond other groups by allowing the open discussion of spiritual experiences and afterlife evidence in a non-dogmatic way. HPH affiliate groups welcome everyone, regardless of religious or non-religious background, and encourage open dialogue. Attendance at this meeting is voluntary. We hope that participants will learn from and share with each other. Discussions here are confidential and not designed to replace traditional therapy or spiritual counseling. Zoom meetings run by leadership are not confidential. These meetings typically feature guest presenters and are posted on YouTube so the affiliate members worldwide can watch and benefit. Neither type of HPH meeting is designed to replace traditional therapy or spiritual counseling. HPH offers a wide variety of speakers, allowing parents to learn about many possible ways to heal. This includes presenters covering progressive topics such as afterlife evidence and connecting with children who have passed. The views expressed by our guest speakers may or may not reflect the opinions of Helping Parents Heal leaders and members, so we ask that you take from their presentations whatever you may benefit you personally. And without further ado, I'll pass it over to Christy to introduce Sharon Cavanaugh.
All
Thanks.
right. Thank you, Elizabeth. And thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. I'm very excited to have Sharon here. I'm going to read her bio. Sharon Cavanaugh is an artist, educator, and creative guide whose work bridges personal transformation and creative connection. With a foundation in medical illustration and over 20 years building and growing Connecticut Art School, an art enrichment school for children and teens, her passion has evolved into something far deeper than technique. After selling the art school, Sharon shifted her focus from teaching children to working with adults. She created Canvas and Connection, a process-driven approach to art that invites people, especially those navigating loss, change, or life's inevitable pivots, to explore these moments through creative expression. Whether working one-on-one, in her studio, leading workshops online or in person, or partnering with organizations, she creates spaces for play, curiosity, reflection, and growth. Her art and workshops are layered, both visually and emotionally, exploring themes of grief, transformation, and the nonlinear path of becoming. She believes in the power of creativity to change lives. And I have her website, which is canvasandconnection.com. And if you're on Instagram, go check out her Instagram page. That's also Canvas and Connection. And she also has a Facebook page, which is Sharon Cavanaugh Studio. But I am so happy to have you here, Sharon. Thank you for joining us. And I'm going to let you tell your story. She is a member of our group. Her daughter, Sarah, passed 10 years ago. And I don't know how long you've been in Helping Parents Heal, but I'll let you share what your journey through through your journey
Thank you.
becoming involved with art and involved with Helping Parents Heal.
Okay.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thanks, Christy. Thanks, Elizabeth. I appreciate you both. Um, I've been in HPH for quite a long time. I was at the very first meeting, and HPH was one of the first things that I found after Sarah transitioned. She was 24 years old. She had a cancer called rhabdomyosarcoma. It was a tumor that was in her right cheek. She got diagnosed just before she was 20 years old, totally unexpected, completely healthy. Dentists thought it was TMJ. She got a lot of people telling us that it was stress and wear a mouth guard. And it just progressed to progressed in pain to the point where we finally got MRIs done. And it was a tumor in her cheek. And she did almost a full year of treatment. And she was in remission for about 16 months, about that. So she missed her junior year of college, went back for her senior year, graduated with her class. She graduated on time, which she was very proud of. Her mission was to get through cancer and get on with her life. She had no tolerance whatsoever for being sick. She was just like, I have things to do, and this is not one of them. She was a spitball. She had bright red hair. She knew herself very well. She was a strong kid. And even through all the stuff that she went through, which was atrocious because of where the location of that tumor was, it ended up physically affecting her whole face. The first time she was treated with chemo and radiation, the second and third time, it was massive surgeries. And every surgery just took away more and more of her body, literally, until she just couldn't survive it anymore. So we never knew for sure if it was the cancer or the treatment. She had a wound in her face that wasn't healing, couldn't heal. And that's what she ultimately died from. And she died on St. Patrick's Day morning, um, in a blink of an eye. I mean, no warning that it was going to be that day. She took one breath and that was it. It was just over that fast. So this is 10 years for her. And I was just telling Christy and Elizabeth, my husband and I are going to Ireland for St. Patrick's Day because we figured that was the place we needed to be. She made it crystal clear to us that we were supposed to celebrate her and not be sad, which of course is ridiculous because you can do both, but you can't really do one or just the I couldn't do one and not the other. Anyways, that's what got me here. So in the beginning, especially, HPH was a lifeline. I went to like all the online Zooms early on. I went to the first meeting, did readings with several of the mediums that are still involved with HPH. So it was a really good starting point. For a while, my husband and I had an affiliate group here in South Windsor. That group still exists, but it's not very active. There's another group that we actually do more with instead right now, which has worked out. Part of that was COVID. It was part of it was just the timing of it, that it just wasn't terribly sustainable. So I started as a medical illustrator. That was my background. That was my degree. So that was a degree that my father liked because I grew up in the time where women could be nurses, teachers, or work for the phone company. Those were your three choices. And and my father said, he was great, but he was like, you have to find a school in Connecticut. If you find something that isn't available in Connecticut, we'll talk. So that was like a challenge. So I found a major that was not available in Connecticut and I went to school in New York. And he liked the degree, and so did I, because it was science-based, and that way he could see it turning into a career. And I liked it. I liked the science part of it too, but it gave me a chance to do art, like really just do art, which is what I wanted. So I worked as a medical illustrator for quite a while. I worked in a hospital in Maryland, and then I worked freelance on my own for years. So I worked for a lot of attorneys. It's great work. It's hard work and it's fast work because if things change, especially working for attorneys, if things change, um, the case goes away. So I could get a case like in the evening, by the morning or 2 days later, it could be settled. I only make money when I'm working. So that was a really hard career to keep going. So I went into graphic design after that, and then I ended up opening a children's art school. And that was 100% inspired by my daughter because she was a very visual learner. And I know most people are visual learners, but she went through a lot of things in school where she kept being tested because some of her scores would be really high, some would be really low, and the school kept saying, she's average. Average is fine. Average is fine. It's not fine if you have really big, big highs and really big, big lows. So when we discovered how she learned, the art school just made sense. So she was absolutely the inspiration for that. Although she never really liked the classes, she liked doing things her way. So she was crafty and she was creative, but she was not my perfect student. A lot of her friends were. I had that school for 21 years and I sold it a year ago, just about a year and a half ago now. And she was the reason I sold it also because I could no longer do it. I couldn't be with just kids all day long. I didn't have the patience for it. My heart wasn't in it. I didn't want to teach anybody how to draw that way anymore. I think it has huge value and I have zero regrets from doing it, but I had just grown to a different place. It just wasn't what I wanted to do or be. So I kept searching, probably like a lot of you guys in the beginning, trying to figure out, all the why questions that we can't answer, like, why did it happen? How do I connect with her? Can I connect with her? All those things. So we did everything. And one of the very, very first things we did 4 months after she transitioned is my husband and I went to Italy with an artist, a meditation facilitator, and a medium. And it was like not what we would normally do. It's not like I normally just pick up and go to Italy, but I just really wanted to be with this medium. So we went to Italy, and it was the best thing we ever did because we were with a small group. They took care of everything. It's one of those trips that are like pre-planned and you just kind of follow along, which is all my brain could handle. And it was a group of women, except for my husband, and everybody supported everybody. So it wasn't a group that was just for people who had lost people. Other people had, nobody else had lost a child, but it was the best way to get away from my regular life and not and just be able to breathe like in a different place completely. And that led me to a whole bunch of other things. Workshops with Suzanne Giesman. I did a reading with George Anderson at the meeting, at the first HPH meeting. I took lots of classes, lots of like energy healing classes, just a lot of things for years. But through all that, it was a bunch of highs and lows. So if we had a medium reading and the reading was exceptional, you'd feel like she was right in the room with you and you didn't want it to end. But the second it ended, then there's like a crash because then she's not right next to you anymore the same way. So I kept turning back to art over and over and over again because I realized that no one could give me the answers I wanted. Nobody could. I mean, wouldn't that be great if somebody could? But nobody really can do that for you. So to do it for myself, the only way I could do it was through art. So that's what got me into this. So the work that I do now is all process based. So it's no longer trying to figure out how to make the perfect drawing or do something technically correct, although that seeps in. I mean, that's still kind of where I came from. So it's not like I don't do that at all, but I don't stress about it the same way. And the lessons you learn at the canvas. So I have a sacred painting practice, which just means that I use my canvas and paint as a way to work with intuition and get answers to questions and just sort of live my life. Like it's a way to help me get through the day. It's a calming way to continue to live for me. So that's what, to me, that's what a sacred painting practice means. Doesn't even mean I do it every day or sometimes every week, but I always come back to it. Let's see. So art for me also was a huge form of meditation. And as much as I've tried over and over to meditate, and I still do, and sometimes I'm really good at it, sometimes I'm not, I can zone out or zone in much better through drawing. So today, what I wanted to do with you guys is a number of things. And most of it has to do with mindfulness and just some easy practices to kind of step into this world a little bit. Oh, I know what I was going to say. The lessons that you learn at the canvas are mirror images of what's going on in your life. And the biggest one I learned in the very beginning of when I started working with this whole technique is the idea of detachment. And detachment is letting go of control. And that is probably the thing I held on to the most because she went through it's almost 5 years of dealing with hospitals and doctors and, just endless amounts of stuff. And every bit of that I tried so hard to control. I wanted to control that outcome. And I obviously couldn't. It didn't, and I am a firm believer now in soul planning. I don't, I look at it differently now than I did then, but I know my own temperament was like, I can control this. I can research it. I can figure it out. There's got to be a way. There's always a way. That was kind of our motto. Everything that would come up and if she was upset with something, I would say, we'll figure it out. We'll just figure it out. And we figured out a lot of things, but we couldn't stop the ending that we didn't want. So the idea of detachment is letting go of that outcome. So in painting, it's super easy. If you don't like it, paint over it. Like it's just such a cool thing. So you don't have to stress out about like, I hate that part of my painting, or that's really muddy, or this is not working the way I want. Take a hair dryer, dry it up, paint over it, and start again. And it's kind of like you just translate that to your life. You can do the same sort of thing. You can try something a different way. You can make a different choice. You can try again. So for me, that's been like it just kind of freed the shackles a little bit. It just like let you look at things a different way. So to start with, I'm going to switch over. I've got my iPhone hooked up over here, so I'm going to switch that. It only takes like a second before it clicks over. There we go. So I have a sketch pad here, but any kind of paper is fine. Even if you have just like copy paper, that's all you're really going to need on this. And what I want to show you, does everybody have something they can draw with? Okay, great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pencil and I'm just going to draw a line down the center. I'm going to draw everything a little bit darker than you have to, just because I want you to be able to see it. So you don't have to do that. You're drawing for yourself. So whatever works for in front of you. And I think I'm actually going to start mine in marker. I have markers and colored pencils here, but I'm going to start with marker. So this is called bilateral drawing. And bilateral drawing is a way to access both sides of your brain. Now, you've probably all heard a million times, like the right side is the creative side, the left side is the logical side. There's so many neural pathways that are between them. So that idea of your right being creative and your left being logical exists, but it doesn't exist the same way it used to. I think it's more of a whole brain approach now, but there are ways that you can kind of keep creating those neural pathways. I'm going to go back to the other video for a second. So one of the things I want to do to start with is just, if you often when you start by trying to ground yourself and take some deep breaths. Because we're going to be working back and forth and rights and lefts here, I'm going to try to do it with butterfly tapping. So I'm going to put just one hand on my chest and link the other thumb together. So both thumbs. So I just put one arm down, one hand down, and put the other one. And with this, you can just kind of like tap back and forth, left and right, left and right. While you're doing that, you just kind of, it's just to sort of get you centered, to breathe. You can do a little patterns. You can go like 2-2, 2-2, 2-2, 2-2, or you can just go back and forth. And it's just kind of it's sort of a comfort, and it's right over your heart. And if you just sort of pay attention to your breath and just take a couple minutes to do that, and then we're going to transition that right into exactly what we're drawing. I think this is a nice way to kind of bring yourself back when you need to. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to that video. And I have two colors, and I just want colors. It doesn't matter what the colors are, but just make sure they're different enough so that you can see them. You can tell the difference. So bilateral drawing is drawing with two hands at the same time. Now I'm a really strong righty, so my left is he's always the one that's kind of catching up or following along. And I can write with my left hand, but I'm still really dominantly right-handed. Two sides of your brain, two hands, and you're just going to, that center line is where you're going to begin. You're just going to put these two down and you're going to mirror them. So whatever you're doing on one side, you just let it follow with the other. And I am not drawing anything specifically here. I'm just letting my hands and my brain work together. And right now I'm not crossing that midline. I'm just kind of making a symmetrical mirrored drawing. And when you're doing this, you get kind of just lost in the process of doing it. There's no ending point here, so you're going to end when you feel like it's right to end. I'm going to stop right there for mine. So you can see, like, this one's like, my line's a little more intentional, I guess, and this one gets a little shaky, but they're following each other pretty good, which is kind of fun. Now, once you have that, you can switch the colors. So now I've got the green one over here and the purple one over here, and I can try to embellish them a little bit. So I can look and see if I want to color anything in or add anything to it. So I can add details. I can pick spots that I want to try to color. Now, everybody's going to have a slightly different experience with that. For me, I don't like this. I love the like this because it just seems like it flows better. As soon as I'm doing this, I can see such a difference. Like my right hand's fine, my left hand is like struggling to do it. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to instead just work on one side at a time. And I'm going to just start to make some designs in here. And then I'll just take the other color. I'm sticking with my right hand. And I'm going to do things over here. And it doesn't have to be exactly the same. But try both. See if you have the same kind of reaction I did, or if you think if it's better for you, it works better for you, then certainly do it. For me, it's more fun to have my right hand more involved. Although what I could do is I can go back to the drawing and now I still have these switched and I can add more with the opposite color. See, I like that again. That works for me. And now I'm repeating some of the lines. I'm just kind of going around and around and around. Circles are a calming thing. And at any point, you can kind of turn this into sort of a flow. So I'm going to keep my hands going in circles like this, but I'm going to now let them go their own separate ways. So I'm going to let them start to cross. I can follow one to the other. So this is more of a flow state where you're just kind of like getting into the action and you're just going around, around, around. And everything I'm doing, I'm kind of keeping that motion, that circular kind of motion. You can do it like this, so they kind of figure eight. Like I said, I'm not worried about that midline anymore. It's more like, I feel like they're kind of like on the same path. They're kind of racing each other. But when you're doing that, you're not thinking about everything under the sun. It's just, it turns into a really like nice kind of calming exercise. So I've pretty well covered my page, but if I could take a different color and I could go into it and I could add other details to it. And when you're doing this, all you're doing is thinking, okay, what color do I want to put where and what feels right? So I have nothing in mind. I'm not trying to make anything. I'm just playing. Does anybody want to hold theirs up and show me what you've done? Oh, pretty. Yeah, these look great.
I'm
Okay,
with
let's try
you,
another one.
Sharon. I think circles are so calming for some reason. I always talk about the first winter after test passed. I sat in the den with my husband and son and I cut out circles just for hours. I would just cut up all the watercolor I was playing with during the day. At night, I would sit there and just cut it all up into circles.
Yeah. Well, circles are unity, right? I mean, circles keep everything going. Circles are connections. And they are really calming. So that I think that's intuitive, right, Christy? I mean, you just kind of like did it. I think that's cool.
Totally intuitive.
Okay, I mean, got a clean sheet of paper, and this is a breathing exercise. So on this one, you're going to draw your breath. And this one is super easy. This one reminds me of doodling in school. Any doodlers when you were supposed to like be paying attention in class? And yeah, me too. And doodling's really good because it helps you focus. It really does help you zoom in on things. So if I'm not if I'm not doodling when I'm trying to take notes, I'm not going to get it right. So doodling's a good thing. So on this one, just your breath. So if you just start, put your pen down in a spot. We're going to go kind of up and down, up and down. So I'm going to start on this side over here, and I'm just going to take a breath in. I'm just going to breathe in, and on that inhale, I'm going to go up. So I'm going to try to keep that inhale until I get to the top, and then I'm going to turn, I'm going to exhale and come right back down. And then do it again. So inhale, exhale. So this is a form of meditation too, because often when you're trying to meditate, people will tell you that. They'll tell you to like just concentrate on your breath. Just breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. So you're doing the same thing, you're just doing it on paper. And if you end up with gaps in there, that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. So breathe in. It's easy to think about. You're breathing in, you're going up, you're breathing out, you're coming down. And this is also one, it doesn't have an end. So you just do this as many times as you feel like. It's also something you could do absolutely anywhere. So if you just need a little something to get you back into focus, this is a great thing to do. And once you have this, if you think of this kind of like an underlayer, you can do anything else to this too. So if you get to a point you're like, okay, I want to start adding something else, I could just change this. I could change this and start just adding something else to it. So it turns into a little bit more of a doodle or a design. But that intentional breath is just a really, really nice way to start. My intention today is to give you a bunch of different tools, a bunch of different things that you can try. So nothing's going to be a finished kind of piece. It's just hopefully some things you haven't done before, just to give you some options. Okay, so I would probably go all the way to the end there. But the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take something. And so I have a little rock here. It could be a rock, it could be a gemstone, it could be a coin, it could be a bottle cap. It doesn't really matter. You just need a little something that you can put on your paper, anything. And then from there, you're going to take another marker or another pen or colored pencil, whatever you have. And you're going to think about this as energy, and you're going to move that energy around. So it's kind of the idea that you've got stuck energy in you, because we do. And you're going to just move it around. So move it around by drawing under it. So you can kind of push it. You can control the direction you want it to go in to some degree. You're just kind of going to move that thing around. If it goes off the page like that, no big deal. You just pick it back up again. And this is also that idea of you don't have control. I mean, I can have some control, but I certainly can't perfect this. I can't make this like a really intricate kind of thing. It's just going to do what it wants to do. So I'm crossing those lines over, and I kind of like it with the breath work underneath. Just moving energy. So this kind of work raises your vibration. It's creative frequency, which is really, really helpful to us because in order to connect with our children, it's important to have a high enough vibration. And sometimes that feels like an impossible thing to ask or think about or imagine. But if you look at it like this, like you don't have to think about this like I'm raising my vibration to talk to my daughter. I'm not doing that. I'm just playing with moving a rock around on paper, and it's raising my vibration by default. And I kind of love that. Okay, so there I go. So I'm going to put that guy aside for a second. Now this is a little bit more of a neurographica technique. So anywhere you have those hard edges, anywhere it's making like a V, anywhere those two edges come together in a V kind of way, it's a sharp ending. And the idea with neurographica is that you're smoothing those sharp edges. So anywhere those two lines come together, I would just smooth them in and then color them in. It can be on each side of the line. You can do this on every single little piece that you did, or you can just pick a few. You can change colors. When I was in medical illustration, when I was in school for medical illustration, we worked with pen and ink a lot. And this technique was actually called the Snodgrass technique, which I have no idea why, but now it's very popular and it's called neurographica. But kind of connecting those edges. The idea with this, the general idea in this is that you're just creating calmness. You're just taking away the rough, prickly points and smoothing everything out. And it becomes really meditative too, because you can't do this wrong. You're just kind of going around, you pick your colors, and you just intuitively pick your colors. You just keep going. And anything you choose to add, you certainly can do that at any point also. But that's kind of fun. Okay, so you ready for another one? Okay, so has anybody ever done a soul scribble or know a definition of a soul scribble? Okay, so they're called different things, sometimes different places, but a soul scribble is literally a scribble that's meant to help you access your intuition, help give you kind of an intuitive message, or help you solve a problem, or help give you insight. So the way to do it is first you have to just let go of the outcome. Like you can't have a predetermined, I'm going to draw a duck. You have to just be like, I have no idea what I'm going to draw. And it often doesn't make any sense in the beginning. So when you're doing it, you start with your blank page and something to draw with. So it doesn't matter what. Again, I'm going to go with marker just because I think you can see it easier. You can do whatever. And then you set an intention or you ask a question. And it can be something like a common thing to do at the beginning of a new year is to ask for a word that you're asking for a word that would be your word of the year, like your inspiration for the year, or a word that would guide you for the year. You could ask for an emotion that would guide you for the year, or a symbol. So a symbol can be like a peace sign, or it could be any kind of an animal. It can be like a dragonfly. It could be a rock. It could be absolutely anything. So you could set an intention to ask, you could say like, for 2026, what would be my word or my emotion or my symbol? You could ask for what your next logical step is. What am I supposed to do next in my life? What should I do tomorrow? What do I do? I'm stuck. What's my next step? You could say, you could ask what your child wants you to know right now. You could ask your child a question. You could pretty much ask anything. And don't make this hard. Like, don't, early on when anybody talked about intentions to me, I get like this stuck in my heart. Like I had to have the perfect intention. You don't. You can just say, what's next? Or, what's my next step? And just leave it at that. So just pick something. And then you're going to take your pen. When you put it on, oh, actually, hang on. I'm going to quickly show you a 1 minute little video. It's going to show you exactly what we're going to do. What you're going to see in this video is what turned into this. This is what I ended up painting from what I'm going to show you. So it's a snail with the letter Z. So this is the same exact technique that I'm showing you right now, but this one is done with paint. We're doing it with some sort of dry medium, but it's the same thing. So I'm going to share my screen real quick and show you this. Okay, here we go. Okay. So that's showing you pretty much what we're doing. When the very, very first part of it, there was writing all over it. I do that in almost all my paintings. I'll either paint words of intention underneath it. Sometimes I'll just paint words that are things I want to express. It could be something good. It could be something bad. Bad meaning something that's frustrating me. But usually there's some underlying thing, but not because that was paint. I'm not doing it with this one. You can write a love letter to your child and paint over it. And then that energy that you put in that letter is forever in that painting, which is really cool. Okay, so have your idea, your question, your intention in your head. Put your pen to the paper, and I'm literally going to count to 4 seconds. So the idea here is that you don't want to engage the logical part of your brain. You just want to do a scribble. So ready? Everybody ready? I'm going to go. Put your pen down there and go 1, 2, 3. Done. So stop. Don't go any further. And now look at it and see what stands out for you. See if there's anything in there that looks, and don't worry about answering your question right now. Just look at this independently. So look at it and turn it. If it didn't look right, if nothing jumped out one way, it might be somewhere else. So flip it a few times and see. And you're not going to see every little thing. You're not going to see like a full drawing. You're going to see something. Like to me, I've got some sort of a head going on there. I'm not sure what that is. See if you can pick which way you want it to go. That's like a letter A. And as soon as you see something that you think you can follow up and go a little further with, then start adding a little detail to it. Now, if you're looking at it and you're going, I don't have anything, I can't see a single thing, then I would just take color and start coloring in something. Color in a section, any section. And the hope there is that something starts to jump out at you. And you can add pieces to this. So this is just the beginning. Just kind of looking at this is just the beginning. But what I'm trying to avoid is I don't want you to be sitting there staring at it going, there's nothing here. That could be true. And it could be true for the moment. So just start doing this. Just start adding some color. You can flip it again. I don't know what that is, but I feel like something's right there. So I'm going to play with that a little bit. See if I can figure out what's going on there. I don't know. Again, this doesn't need to be perfectly done. It doesn't have to be super neat. You're just kind of trying to figure it out. Okay, so now I feel like I've got some kind of a bird here. So I feel like I've got like a swan head maybe. And maybe this is a big wing. And then what? And then I'm going to try to see if I can figure out what the swan is sitting on. Now, you can take all the liberties you want in here. So I'm going to expand this a little bit. Expand it means I'm going over my lines. I'm just drawing them bigger because it doesn't matter. What matters is what I'm seeing. It doesn't really matter what was there. And I'm making a toadstool. I've got a spot here and I'm just putting other ones up here. So I guess I have some sort of a nest going on. And I am saying that with a question in my voice because I'm not sure. Okay, so I take a few more minutes to do this. If anybody wants to talk and say what's going on for them, I'd love to hear it. Or if anybody wants to show it where they are so far, that would be great too.
And if you have questions too, if you have any
Absolutely.
questions for Sharon, I'll share mine. Mine
Please.
came up with an
Ah,
and it made me think of how we talk about what you were talking about, being celebrating your daughter, but also grieving her. You can be happy and you can have grief. You can do both. It's not
100%.
we're not often one or the other of any emotion. We're this and that. So
Yeah.
that's what it made me think of.
Chrissy, what was under there? Did it look like an and sign right away or did you find it?
Yeah, it looked like an and sign, and
That's wild.
and I had to turn it around. It's
To find
actually
it.
upside down from what I scribbled. So yeah,
You also have a really big infinity sign in there.
a big what?
Infinity sign.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's my sign. That's my
Shocking.
sign from yes.
I love it. Anybody else want to share or have a question? Feel free to unmute yourself.
I wanted to share, I, this is all really, really new to me. I have no idea. But
That's okay.
this is what I found. Can you see it?
Go
Hold
up a
it
little
up a
higher.
little bit more. There you go. Oh yeah.
So,
And
Yeah.
when I looked at it, this is upside down from what I drew, but when I looked at it the other way, it was a super big lowercase a, which was my daughter's middle name.
okay.
And at first I thought I should do that. But then when I turned it upside down, the bird was just so prominent that I did the bird. And for some reason, I didn't think of a nest. I thought of a pretty bowl. I don't
Interesting.
know what that means, but this has been very interesting. I'm coming up on a year and a half
Okay.
for my daughter, and I had a really bad day yesterday.
Mhm.
So I wasn't sure I was going to be able to do this, but I'm glad I came.
Would you mind sharing, would you be okay sharing what question you asked?
I asked what should be my intention for 2026.
Okay. Okay.
You
So,
know, like I feel very unfocused,
mhm.
scattered, I guess is a good word.
Do you have any idea what kind of bird that is?
I want to say dove,
A dove? Okay. So a dove has a ton of meaning.
peace, I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what else.
In the bowl. I don't either, but you can play with it and we can probably figure it out more. But that's a really, really great start.
Thank you.
It's beautiful. Does
Thank,
anybody else want to share? Oh, go ahead.
no, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. Does anybody feel frustrated? Like nothing came out of it?
I could share.
Yeah, please do.
I don't know what happened with my internet. I was on Zoom on my computer and I got taken off. So I'm on phone. So I might say iPhone instead of my name. Um, I've always been like, I can't draw. I have no artistic stuff. But you know what? I really enjoy doing this. And I kind of asked like, what about next year? Give me something for next year. And mine was I noticed right away I went to like a cute little point and then a point over here. And I think my message was is like just get to the point. Just get to that
I
point.
love it.
I'm like, yeah, stop messing around. I'm all over the place. Just get to the point. And so I got like this is like just a happy little, I don't know. I thought this one was like a duck or something. So I made a little face. So so getting to the point. That's what I
I
got.
love it. I see an infinity sign in there too.
Oh, oh yeah, yeah.
And her face almost looks like a shamrock leaf to me, that top one. Or she maybe a little angelic. Maybe it's a wing.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So the first two things I did was this, and I wrote over it a couple times, so it's maybe not as showable. But this was I was like, oh, I love that little thing that happened right there.
I love that you like picked
But
one little tiny thing and just built it from there. That's awesome.
yeah, and then I just kind of like, yeah, I drew over it and drew it over it, so it kind of like doesn't look as clear. And then I just was like, oh, I love this, so let's enhance that. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's kind of radiating.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
That was fun.
There's still more we're going to do, but I want to let anybody else share that wants to first. Christine, can, where'd you go?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. So this is what I got
Oh,
out of it.
Mm.
So I asked my son, what are my next steps for next year for just just different things that I have going on and stuff. And I had like a paint palette come through and an X for his name, and then like a mountain and water and a shooting star. Um, and those are just kind of things that first sort of jumped out. I don't know if anyone sees anything else or whatever, but those are
and what
and I
is it
love
all?
color pencils. Yeah.
I do too. What does it all mean to you?
Um, well, my next steps are doing grief groups with art and stuff like in person stuff. And so I think it probably has something to do with just some confidence, um, that it's time, that it's um, yeah, just some clarity, I think.
There's a really cool meditation that takes you into a point where you like rise above the situation and look back down on it. And between your mountains and your star, that kind
Oh,
of looks like that too. Like you can rise above and look at down at what you're
oh,
supposed
I
to be
like that.
doing. And it's pretty
Yeah.
clear you're supposed to have art in there.
Yeah, I like that. I like
That's
that. Thank
you
you.
got a lot out of that one.
Yeah, thank you.
That's
I
cool.
appreciate it.
Anybody else? Okay, I don't see anybody. I'm going to go back.
Maria.
Oh, I'm so
Maria's
sorry.
raising her
Thank you.
hand.
Hi, so I kind of added it onto the same page because I felt inspired, and I don't know if you can see it, but it's like,
Do you have your video blurred?
It's
oh yes, let me just take my, if I can, sorry,
No, that's okay.
okay.
um, how do I
I
do
think
this?
you go to video, go down to the left corner that where it says video and click on that, and it'll give you, I
Um,
think choose where it says blur my background. It'll probably give you an option to unblur or
Jeez. Um, yep, got it.
You should be able to do it now.
Yes,
there you go.
okay, there we go. Um, all right, so then, good. So then, so I added it onto the same page because I felt inspired, and I did these squirrely leaves. I don't know if you can see them right here.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt inspired to continue the leaf patterns and to play with it. Like you said, you just have to go with the flow. And so I did that. And my impression was that, okay, what kind of feelings, what messages, and what I got is grow, because the leaf patterns were twirly and they started expanding.
Yeah.
Just kept going with it, and and today's meeting was so inspiring because this drawing pad was sitting next to my nightstand for like 2 weeks doing absolutely nothing, and I said, when am I going to get inspired to do something with this? When am I going to do this? And today's meeting was perfect. And
I love that. It was waiting for you.
it was. And the markers, look at this. I, I had everything. You said, oh, you have markers? I go, yeah. You have a pad? I go, yeah. You know?
I love it.
So I think this is so much fun.
And I think it's great that you followed your instinct and just drew on the same page.
Yeah,
Because those breathing lines turned into your tree.
you're so right. You're so right now that I look at it. And what I got it, for me, the message that I got is to grow,
Yeah.
like
Keep
figure
growing.
things out, to grow. Like
Yeah.
my son passed away last March.
Okay.
So it's still very fresh. But I think it's a very positive thing to do. And you're right. You immerse yourself that you're not thinking about your busy mind.
Yeah. It I think it makes an amazing amount of difference. And it has nothing to do with being able to draw well. It's everything to do with what comes out of it. It's all process.
And the paintings in back of you, is that different mediums? Is that acrylic? Is
It,
that
they're all acrylic.
they're all acrylic?
Yeah.
I love the butterfly.
Thank you. Thank you. Every
Very,
single one of my paintings have been painted over a million times. Like,
really?
yep, I'll paint something and I think it's wonderful. And then it'll sit in my studio and then I'll come back one morning and I'll be like, oh no, and I'll just paint right over it again. And I'm pretty fearless now. There's very few that I really won't paint over. Most anything, it's like fair game. If it's time, it's time.
Well, thank you so much for inspiring us. I think
You're welcome.
love it,
I
love it,
I
love it.
do want to go over one thing really quickly with everybody. When you're doing these, when you're done, you guys, everybody did fantastic though, and you guys are so far ahead already, which is unbelievable. One of the things I do when I finish, let me switch back to my other one for just a quick second here. Okay, so often what I do is I have this, it's a little journal, it just says Soul Scribbles, and I'll just pick it up and doodle something on it. Once it comes something, I get something in here. So this was, I just wrote Happy New Year and I try to write the date so I can remember what I did. And then if I don't know what it means, I'll literally just describe it. So I wrote rabbit with a big carrot holding, protecting the carrot. And then I'll look up what a rabbit means. Like, what is a rabbit a symbol of? So if you just go on Google and put in rabbit symbolism, you can do that with virtually any word, something symbolism, and you'll get a whole bunch of stuff. So I wrote rabbit symbols of fertility and abundance, new life renewal, luck, good fortune, intuition, livability, active at dawn and dusk, connects them to the threshold between conscious and unconscious. And then I literally ask it, what's your message for me today? And this one I wrote, hold on to what makes you happy, focus on that, and let it get really, really big, this giant big carrot. Find joy, be quick, don't waste your time. So I dialogue with the drawing the same way I do with the paintings. So I'll just so my steps are I write down whatever I see, just like you can see if there's a bunch of them in here. So like this one I wrote, it says first a face with big eyes, a mouth sewn shut, an ear sewn shut too, then a heart. Like it looked like an anatomical heart, but I didn't know what it was going to be. So I just wrote down whatever I saw. Same thing here. Fish jumping out of the water, out of waves, bubbles, waves, chaos, arrow breaking through, giving direction, protected, beaming. But I'm really literally just writing what I see. And then on this side, I'll write, if there's symbolism in it that I want to look up, I'll write down what that symbolism is. And then I'll ask it, what's its message for me today? And then at the end, I'll thank it. I'll just thank you for the message and literally thank the art and then just keep going from there. But that I like things that take pressure off of me because I don't like feeling like, okay, did I get a doodle and everybody else got a better one and mine isn't good enough? And like, I will still do that to myself. So if I just kind of like, just take a breath, let whatever happen happens, as ridiculous as whatever comes out, it comes out. And then I'll ask myself those questions. And if I just write them down, inevitably I'll get a message, which is really, really cool. And when you look stuff up, sometimes there are a couple that I've done. Other times, like I can't even remember what this stands for, but I did this one time. And I was painting with a friend and I got an eel. I'm like, what the heck is an eel? I forgot what it means, but there was some really good message in my eel. And then often I'll write on the back what it is so that I will remember. I didn't do it on this one, but that one totally surprised me because there's no way I would intentionally paint an eel. Like, I don't know anything about them. But anyways, really cool, really, really cool. And I just want to share one more thing with you guys because we are like really close to ending our time. But in terms of my own work, I have two things to share with you. So this is actually behind me, but you can't see it very well. So this is a mandala, and mandalas are also, are you guys seeing the mandala?
Yes.
Okay. So mandalas are also very meditative, and they're symbols of peace. So everything on that mandala are things that remind me of my daughter. So every level is something that connects me to her, and I just built it on the way out. So it's got hearts in it. She's a huge football fan, so it's got footballs, shamrocks, elephants. We had a cat, and there was this funny thing with shrimp and the cat. So the elephant's squirting out shrimp, um, mermaids. She was a Jimmy Buffett fan, so there's fins to the left, fins to the right. We got a little bit of everything going on there. So that one, that's a little more involved. Like then I'm actually trying to paint a little bit more. Like I'm not entirely, it is somewhat the process, but it crosses over a little bit if I really have an intention that's different. But 90% of the work is more just working on the process. And then I have one more. I'm going to share, I'm going to get rid of this little overhead thing. So I have one more to share with you. This one is the one that I did for my daughter also. And this one's a little bit more intense. Um, this one is called Sarah's Graveyard. And it is a middle finger in the middle there. And it's not entirely what you think. She she had, like I said, she had cancer, and the cancer made it so that she couldn't move her hands or her feet. One of the drugs affected that so badly that like her mobility pretty much everywhere, inside and out. So the day she was actually able to like use her middle finger again, or any fingers for that matter, was a celebration. So when I painted this, and I had, that's her, and her eyes are her in the top. That middle finger just had to be part of it because it for me it's more of a funny message. Like I don't look at it like a. It's not meant to be like a really nasty message. It's meant to be like a victory. The bottom part of it is all the body parts that were removed from her body during the cancer treatment. Um, so yeah, that was a big one for me. But it this one was very healing because it kind of like it gave me a way to show I don't know, my deep down feelings, I guess, in a way that worked for me. And this one went through unbelievable changes. It started off with like this like dancer kind of thing, and it ended up as a graveyard. I didn't intend to paint a graveyard. So there's messages in the art. And I find it fascinating. I think it's really cool to see what can come out of it if you're just willing to give yourself permission to be curious and play and not worry about what you're going to do. Because like I said in the beginning, you paint over it. You just get rid of it. So that's the big message, that painting is a way to help heal your life and a way to raise your vibration in a way they don't really have to work at, and a way to maybe see things a little bit differently. It helps you reframe things. It helps you get rid of some limiting beliefs if you turn them over to your paintbrush instead of trying to figure them out. It just makes it easier. So I'm happy to answer any questions anybody has. You guys were amazing. Maria, you've got your hand up. Feel free to unmute yourself.
Thank you so much for the wonderful presentation. Really, I got so much out of it. Where are you located?
I'm in Connecticut.
Okay.
On
Connecticut.
my website, though, I have there's a little series of paintings there that actually goes through step by step of what I do. I think it's listed under free videos. So you're more than welcome to go over there and take a look at it. There's a lot of information on there.
And is your website posted? Let's see.
Yeah, it's Canvas and Connection.
Okay.
But it's in the write-up, so it's on the HPH page with the event, and it's on the HPH Art for the Heart page too.
Thank you so much again.
You're welcome. I'm glad it was good, and I'm glad you got to use your supplies.
I did, and I even wrote what I mentioned to you, grow,
I love it.
so I wouldn't forget.
Make sure you date it, and if you have a chance, do a little more journaling.
I will.
Really
Thank
nice. Thank you. Christine.
Hello, thanks again. I appreciate it. This has been fun. I really like this a lot.
Good.
I have a quick question for you. So I'm an elementary art teacher, and I was thinking of some of these. Did you use this in your school with the children, your children's art classes, or?
No, I've done some of the things with the older kids, but they're more the high school kids.
Yeah.
Like we did spirit animal painting. We went through it
Yeah.
and as a group. We identified like qualities of each student, and they did it for me too. And then we
Oh, cool.
matched an animal that fit those qualities, and they painted that. I think the little kids, they're a little too young
Yeah.
to. I mean,
Yeah.
they would have fun scribbling.
Right.
I don't know that they'd get much further.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Appreciate it.
And Cheryl.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Well, this is mine. And first I looked at it and I thought it looked like my daughter's name, Amy, but I
Put
didn't
it in
have.
front of the screen, Cheryl. We can't
Oh,
see
I'm
it.
sorry. I'm sorry, but it
Oh,
looked like
yeah.
Amy, but it didn't have the Y on there. So then I put that on there and I thought, nah, that's probably not it. So then I turned it this way and let's see. So then I decided this is me. And then that's the ground. So I'm grounding myself, which I don't know how to do or what it means, but I think I need to get grounded. So that's me. This is my head. This is my boobs, and this is my leg, and this is the Y is now the ground.
I love it. I love that you said you need to get grounded, but you don't know how. So now you have to figure it out.
Yeah.
So one thing I've heard somebody else say one time is when they were thinking about grounding, and often you think about like roots growing from your out of the bottom of your feet and going down into the magma of the earth. And her thing was like if you think of it like a carrot first, like a carrot's pointy, but you don't want to just be pointy because then you're not stable. So if you think of like planting a carrot, but then letting everything come out from there, so then you get those roots that are going to go down further and stabilize you. So it's just like connecting you to the earth, connecting you to your body.
Yeah, I know what that means, but I don't do it. I mean, I can't.
Well, keep drawing it. Maybe you'll get there.
Yeah, I had relax was gonna be my thing I want to do. Relax. Maybe I thought grounding would help me relax.
I love it.
So I put that little rock.
That's great. That's great. I think you did a wonderful job.
Okay, thank you. It was
Thank
fun.
you.
It was fun.
Somebody had, oh, yeah, your iPhone.
You're
So go
muted,
ahead and,
Trish.
Trish, okay.
Trish, you're muted.
You're still muted.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm more familiar with the computer, so I'm not normally on the phone. Okay. So my question is, I'm really getting close to finishing my book. It's taken me forever. And I'm at the point where this is more about emotions and stuff. So that first one you did, could that help with getting into the right and left brain? You know what I mean? Do you understand what I'm saying?
I missed the very first part of your question. You're
Oh,
just finishing up what?
I'm finishing up a book,
Oh, okay, okay.
and so the last part of it is more very emotional, putting a lot of emotions into it. So so I was wondering, that first one we did, could that help out with being creative with the emotions and writing?
Sure. Sure. I mean, I think anything you do that's creative is going to help you with that. So, I mean, the left and right brain is just kind of a fun way to do it because it's sort of an easy introduction. And
Mhm.
anything that crosses that midline crosses both hemispheres is good for your brain. That's how little babies learn. Like if babies don't cross play, that often becomes an issue, if they aren't crossing that midline. So
Mhm.
even just that tapping where you're doing the butterfly tapping kind of thing is going back and forth. And then that's what but we were actually working kind of both sides separately, and then I connected them.
Yeah, I really liked that first one. I mean, I liked all of them, but that first one, I was like, "Oh, I'm getting."
I also really, really like when you write on the canvas or paint on the canvas or draw something, or no, really, it's writing something first. And then the next layer on top of that is a freedom layer. So it's just literally paint. It's just not trying to come up with anything. It's just letting go of, you're picking the colors that you like, letting go of any kind of preconceived notion and just paint. So it's really, it's a conversation with your, it's kind of a conversation with your soul or your, yeah, it really is. So I don't know if that's quite answering your question, but I think all of those things, they're mindfulness exercises. They're things that are meant to kind of like center you, help you focus, and get you out of that part of your head that, I mean, I'm sure that probably everybody can say they woke up in the morning exactly how they felt the night before, like whatever they were thinking the night before, whatever was going through their head, you wake up with the exact same thing in the morning. And you don't really want to do that. You want to see if you can find a way to break that. So even if you're like playing with watercolors or you're doodling like this or something to kind of break that, or if you have one canvas and just paint and you go back to that
No,
same canvas
no.
every day and you just paint for 5 minutes on that canvas. So you're not painting anything important. You are painting important. You're not painting intentional. You're not like painting an apple. You're just moving energy. Same way I moved energy with the rock. You're just moving energy and that will change what's going on inside of you.
Mm, that makes sense. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Good question. I see Samsung, but I don't know who that is.
If you could unmute.
Yeah, sorry. I was trying to get onto the meeting, but I could not. I was having internet connection issues and I had to put Zoom on my phone. But I missed the first part of when we started with the art therapy, which it's been appealing to me because I used to do art, but since my kids died, I just don't do it anymore. Um, it's been hard. But so you just doodle and just do whatever, don't even think about what you're making, just see what comes out. Is that's the whole process? Because I missed the first part explaining that.
That's where it started. They videotape this, so they'll be able to post it and you'll be able to go back and you can just follow along with it. But yeah, the whole idea of tonight was really process art. So it's using art as a way to raise your frequency and calm your brain, not necessarily to make great art. I mean, sometimes you do, and sometimes you amaze yourself what you make, but it's more using art as a way to access your intuition and even connect with your child. I mean, you can ask your child to paint with you. I do that sometimes. My
Well,
daughter's
which
pictures right in front of me all the time. We're in my studio.
so I lost all three of my kids in a car wreck. So it's like, which kid do I pick?
Let them pick. You could just you could I mean, if you know favorite colors or something, you could just see where things go. I don't, it's the idea that you're not really going to be able to, I don't know that you can control much of anything, but you can just
Hmm.
ask for a message and doodle it and see if something comes out, something that feels like them.
Okay.
It's, I think it especially, how long has it been for you?
They died in a car accident August 2024. I was out of town for work. My husband was driving the car and suffered a traumatic brain injury. This morning's why I haven't done art. I've been busy taking care of him after the accident.
Wow. I would I would try to lower my expectation and just do art for the sake of doing art. And that's probably the the best way that you're going to get to where you want to get to. If you put the
Are there
pressure on yourself to like have something show up for you or something come out of it right away, that's probably too much. But if you just use it as a way to calm yourself, just like just don't even just I would get a big old canvas and I would write a love letter to my kids right on that canvas. And then I would just put it somewhere where I could see it every morning and just add a little bit of paint to it every day. And just it could take a year for it to become something. It could be that, I get into grooves where like I can't go to sleep because I want to keep painting and painting and painting. But I would just like let it happen and see where it takes you. I wouldn't, I think it's so hard to expect things because then you set yourself up for disappointment. But if you can just let art be a way to like be a companion and
Mhm.
see what happens with it. I mean, you have a lot on your plate. That's a lot. I mean, you're grieving and you're a caregiver still, and that's a lot.
Well, with the brain damage too, with my husband, like he seems normal at times, and other times it's like, not only am I grieving the loss of our children, but a bit of a loss of the person I was married to. He's not the same.
Absolutely.
It's hard to tell how much is, though, like the neurologist said, how much is neurological damage, how much is PTSD from the accident and survivor's guilt. He thinks he's fine, doesn't need anything, but
If he's open to it, you could get him to paint with you.
no, he won't do anything. He thinks he's fine.
Yeah.
So when obviously he's not fine.
Well, I mean, he doesn't have to think anything's wrong with him if you can just get him to pick up a paintbrush, right? He doesn't have to do it like it's therapy. He can just do it because you say like, see what happens. Just pick it up and throw paint on it. You can do it with your fingers. You can finger paint. Finger painting feels great.
Okay, that's a good idea. Maybe trick him into art therapy where he doesn't know it's art therapy.
Yeah, I would never call it art therapy. I would just say like it's just playing. Like let's just be curious. What happens if you mix these two colors or like how much mud can you make or like give them all warm colors like reds and yellows and oranges or give them all cool colors and don't mix those two across because that's when you get the muddy colors, but just give them one side of the color wheel and some white and see what happens.
Okay. Well, I'm new to the whole grief group place. I just got in like 10 minutes before I saw the announcement for your thing to start. But a friend referred me over to it. So I was trying to like get Zoom and everything to load, and my internet connection was bad. So I apologize.
They're really good about recording things. So you're not going to miss anything. And you can feel free, you can text me or email me, and I'm happy to talk to you.
Okay. Thanks.
Good night.
Nancy, did you have anything else you wanted to
Yeah, I
say?
wanted to just ask, you said this is called process art? What did
It's
you call it? Process what?
it can be called a number of things. It can be intuitive art, it can be process-based art, it can be meditative art. It's all the same, or
Okay,
they're all in the same family.
okay. And then the first thing that we did with the scribbling, you called that dual something, or what did you call
Bilateral,
that?
bilateral,
Bilateral?
yep, bilateral drawing.
That is so interesting how it was even possible to do that. I didn't even think one could do that if they were right-handed. And then
I know it's wild.
this breathing thing was the breathing meditation thing, but did it have another name when you started doing all this stuff?
No, I
And
talked
the
a little bit
purpose
about,
of going to do these things does what? It's the mindfulness,
yeah, I talked a little bit about neurographic art. That's when we started around neurographic art. When we
like
started,
brain.
exactly. When we
Okay.
started to round the corners.
I'm a word person. I want to know what things are called if they have a name.
No, I don't blame you.
It's
I like it too.
fascinating to me. And then your this last thing with the bird and in my case, the bird and the bowl,
It's a
that was called what?
soul scribble.
That was
Soul
called soul scribbling.
soul scribble. It's called other things too, but that's what I've always known it to be.
I think that is very powerful. And I was still listening, but I looked up the
Oh, good.
symbolism for those
Good.
things.
And what'd you
It
find
is
out?
amazing to me. It was astounding
That's
because
awesome.
it's stuff that I've been toying with in my mind about doing, and that's it. I mean, it's here.
Wow.
So, and one of the things that the letter A, which I thought was like her name, it talks about gateway to new horizons, disavowing hierarchy, beginnings, leadership, gateway to new horizons. I thought that was wonderful.
That's
So
amazing.
it's a positive message, and I'm going to try and be hopeful about it.
All of that from a 3-second scribble.
Yeah, who knew?
Who knew?
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
The journal that you have with the scribbles, it kind of reminds me of automatic writing, where we can set an intention to connect with our kids and do the scribbles and see what messages pictures come through and what the symbolism is. I just love that, Sharon. This has been
Very
so
much.
wonderful. And before we leave, I want to just mention a few things. For those of you who are new, please go and join our Art for the Heart group on Facebook. And under the featured section, you will see our previous meetings that have been recorded. And there's a number of, we did a neurographic art tutorial, there's a mandala tutorial, there's a number of things that you can do on there. But there's also, you can go to the Helping Parents Heal website, and there are abundant resources for those of you who are new to the group. Books, videos. They have a YouTube library of hundreds and hundreds of videos, trusted mediums that have been tested, all kinds of resources. So please check that out. Sharon, this has been so fantastic. I love that these practices are things that anybody can do with materials that everyone has at home, paper, pencil, anything simple like that would work. But you could also expand it and make it into something really fabulous and more detailed if you want. But this has just been wonderful, and I appreciate you coming and talking to us tonight.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me. And what a great group. It's really been good. Thank you. I appreciate you all.
And everyone, please post what you did on our Facebook page so that everybody else can see what you've done. And if you got some symbolism or a message, please share that too.
Yeah, I'd love to hear that also. So please, that's great.
Yeah. Everyone can unmute and tell Sharon thank you and good night.
Thank you,
And
Sharon. Good night.
Thank you,
Beautiful.
Sharon.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Appreciate it.
Thanks. Good night.
Yeah,
good night,
Good night,
everybody.
everyone.
Great.
Good
That
night,
was
everybody.
great. Thank you.
Thank you.